Come on.
Welcome back to the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA Spirit of the Race Award. You're listening to the Check Engine Podcast. We're hosted on Anchor.fm and streamed worldwide on all the platforms that you use to listen to your favorite podcasts. My name is Nick. Joining me on the other ends of the line, as per usual, like they do every week, are both Tristan and Andrew. Guys, how's your 3-day weekend been?
It was good. I did the traditional American Memorial Day thing of doing random shit out in the yard.
Yeah,
to celebrate the troops, you know.
They give you the freedom to go out into your yard.
Mm-hmm. In this case, I planted a lot of grass seed. Home ownership, let me tell you.
Sounds like fun.
I did the same. My family acquired a riding lawnmower / garden tractor and a trailer for said device. That got a lot of use. Mowed the lawn for the first time in decades. I don't know. No, it does get mowed occasionally, but not nearly enough. And
I've been meaning to ask you, you live literally in the middle of an actual forest. Where is their lawn?
Oh, there's a ton of it.
Where?
Out over the septic field.
Don't say under the tree.
And then right by the air conditioner. And then on the other side of the house, over by the fire pit.
Oh, all right. Shows you what I know.
I was just going to say, for people who don't know, Tristan, as Andrew put it, lives in the middle of the forest. So when he says he hasn't mowed the lawn in decades, it's not like you're just wandering through some neighborhood and there's that one house with the extreme overgrowth.
Right, exactly.
It's responsible.
It's more of like we let the prairie grow in between the trees. It looks natural, but it doesn't look conducive for things like yard games, which was the rest of my weekend was the traditional Wisconsin BAEGS Bags.
You played the bags, that guy?
Yep. Ladder ball, aka testicle toss. Let's see. Bocce or bocce, depending on how Italian you think you are. And croquet and badminton. All sorts of things outside.
You had your own actual Olympics.
Yeah, basically.
You got into the competitive spirit here just in time for our episode.
And I'll tell you, the women cleaned up this weekend.
I was just going to ask how you did, but you answered it already.
Badly. Very badly.
Fair enough.
Don't let me throw things for money. If there's ever an option to here, do this thing. If you throw it at this thing and you win money, and it's the three of us, do not choose me.
Well, some of those are I guess not bat sports, but at least implement sports. Croquet, badminton.
Yes, croquet, badminton, and that's pretty much it. But everything else is just. Actually, I'm really pretty good at bocce. You can do that. But do not let me play bags or ladder ball.
I'm horrible about those things too.
Not my sport.
Well, we learn something more about you every week.
That's the goal.
Tristan,
yeah,
bad at yard games.
Some yard games.
Oh my God. I have an important question for both of you that I thought up some point this weekend. I don't remember. Okay, so we've already talked. What soups would you eat as a popsicle? Everyone would do tomato. I think I would probably do broccoli cheese. But the new question is this. What sandwiches would you eat as ice cream?
Oh.
Peanut butter and jelly, duh.
Yeah, everyone would pick peanut butter and jelly for sure.
Yeah.
What about what about egg sandwich? Maybe like a mayo ice cream with some chunks in it?
Yeah, I don't know. I would just do
harder.
What about BLT? You could do I guess tomato ice cream, bacon bits,
lettuce bits.
Yeah, chunks of lettuce.
Sounds nasty.
You're really selling this proposition. I can't do it. I can't lie even that much for you. That's not that's very gross.
All right, what about for you? How about a chicken sandwich? We do like a barbecue flavored ice cream, some nice chunks of Why not?
I don't need to go any further than I will not eat barbecue flavored ice cream.
Oh, fine, whatever. You're no fun at all. All right.
I want savory. I will go as far as spicy ice cream.
Oh, okay. So you'll eat spicy ice cream.
I don't want meat flavored ice cream.
No, there wouldn't be. There would
Think
be
of it that way. Meat ice cream.
There would be chunks of cold meat in the ice cream.
It would be barbecue flavored ice cream, barbecue sauce.
Exactly.
No.
Fine. I'll come back to you.
Puffernutter. Nutella and banana. Those are the kind of sandwich creams I would like.
How about turkey? Would you do turkey? Gravy flavored ice cream with chunks of turkey and cranberry.
No.
Oh my god! All right, start this episode.
I don't want ice cream. I don't want ice cream, mate. Let's move on.
Well, which one would you eat, Andrew?
I would definitely do a turkey one. I think that would be delicious.
I don't know if it like the flavor, not terrible. I just don't know if I could get used to having it that cold. It's just the feeling of it.
I mean, we could maybe allow shakes, but that's kind of like against the spirit of the exercise. Yeah. Ideally, you'd have a cone, right? Because that's like the authentic ice cream experience is to eat it out of a cone.
And then that would be the bread or the bun of the sandwich.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to. Yeah, totally.
Okay, here. Let's make the assumption that I could stomach chicken flavored ice cream.
It wouldn't. You haven't been listening the whole time.
No. I'm on a separate thing here. Let's say that I could stomach chicken flavored ice cream. I could do like a Nashville hot chicken and waffles with like the waffle cone and a drizzle of like hot honey on top with chicken flavored ice cream.
That sounds good. I would eat that.
Actually sounds kind of good. Yeah.
That might work.
Everyone, there's always one. Everyone's got an idea for this. And this is how I'm going to start my ice cream store where we will sell the finest meat flavored ice creams.
I wish you a half-hearted best of luck.
That was the sound of physical pain.
Is this why we're here today? Are we just going to talk about?
We are already so far off topic, and we haven't even revealed what the topic is. If you listened last week, you know what we're going to talk about. But Andrew, please enlighten us.
Well, this is part 2 of the Olympics, I guess, episodes where, last week we laid out the events that the three of us would choose for a nationally representative car Olympics, wherein we each picked a country to represent. We will use only cars made in that country to represent in each of these events. And so that's this week. We're bringing the cars, and I assume we'll probably have a little banter about who could win, or if someone has a particularly egregious choice. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to be, kind of speculation based on numbers or gut feeling. It's going to be without, actually going and doing this. If anybody has a ton of money and would like to have us do this for them, let us know. But without actually doing it, it's just going to be, oh, yeah, that's a good choice. But I'm still looking forward to the discussion when someone throws out something wildly out of line or something. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
When I throw out my rally choice,
that I'm excited for.
That's when you guys are just going to lose your shit.
Right. And as a reminder, I picked Japan.
Yes. Well, I don't think it's a reminder. We didn't have a country picked before the end of last week.
That's why I just stopped. I don't think we actually told the listeners. So, listeners, I have picked Japan off air.
Tristan, you have picked what?
Deutschland.
So Tristan is picking and representing Germany, and I am coming at it from the US of A.
Good old America.
Good old America. So Andrew can only choose cars to compete in these events from Japan, Tristan only cars from Germany, and myself only cars from the United States. We can have cars compete in multiple events. This isn't like a you use it once and you're done situation because, as you know, folks from watching the Olympics, athletes do compete in multiple events. So we're doing the same thing. But before we get into that, does anybody have any pace laps?
I have a couple funny observations from a road trip that my dad is on. He is dropping off my mother in Illinois and is texting me things that have happened to him in a serial fashion on the way home. He passed a truck, and the truck, kind of right when you get to the blind spot, there was a sticker that you could end up seeing kind of on the rear view mirror kind of side of the truck. It said, "Blinking thing means turning." I think this is an obvious response to the fact that we're no longer requiring driver's tests for licenses.
Definitely.
So instruction needs to arrive on the road. So
whatever works.
And also, he looked at his gas gauge and realized that it went 0, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 1/1. Like, not just the number 1, not full. 1/1. 1/1.
A full fraction, yeah.
So, seemed a little bit unnecessary to keep bopping around like that. It could have been 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 even.
But reduce that fraction, goddammit.
Right, exactly. And when you reduce that fraction, you just get the number 1. You don't get 1/1.
Not in Germany.
Yeah, right?
This is what happens when the engineers run the show.
Exactly. You have to be specific. How many ones? How much of a 1? So just a couple funny things I was texted today.
That's funny.
Just a little while ago on Twitter, NASCAR announced some suspensions from the previous race. Denny Hamlin's crew chief, car chief, and lead engineer have all been suspended for 4 races.
Yes. Yep.
Which is actually appropriate, I think. A ballast fell off his car or something, right?
Two pieces of ballast, so 2 big weights fell out of the car as he rolled off of pit road. So,
yikes!
Oh, holy shit!
He had to. So before this is like initial, like, gentlemen, start your engines, rolling out for the pace lap, and then 2 giant titanium or lead weights just out the back. So he lost. They started the race without him. Like, they made him pull back in. Like, they told him, like, you can't race without that because now you're at an advantage. You probably just dropped 50 pounds off of your car or whatever it was. So he pulled in immediately, and the race started. I think he lost like 6 or 7 laps right off the bat as they just tried to reattach the ballast. So yeah, then the 4-race suspension for not securing your weights.
Because Jesus, imagine if that had happened at speed. Holy shit.
Yeah, that would have been a missile through somebody's windshield.
Through something. Yeah, yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's super bad.
So, and Jimmy Johnson got disqualified from his 2nd place finish for failing post-race inspection.
Did they say why on that?
I did not look into why. I just heard it like kind of on the ticker in passing. I didn't look into the details. I'm sure in the next day or so, if it hasn't come out already, there'll be some sort of fines or suspensions associated with that one as well. But yeah, 2nd place finish. Now, nothing.
Brutal.
Yeah. Well, make your car legal. I don't really feel sorry for him. But
wait. Well, I thought at the end or in the middle of last NASCAR season, there was something that teams were saying could really easily disqualify a car, and they were saying not there. I can't remember what it was. It was something about the aero, right? It was like an aero piece that was too fragile and could easily cause a post-race inspection failure. I don't quite remember. I want to say it was around the Roval time.
Yeah, they use NASCAR uses like a laser templating system. So like before they used like actual templates where they would just lay pieces over the top of the car and, make sure there wasn't any gaps and make sure the shapes fit. Now they got this laser thing, which is so precise that it doesn't give them any leeway. So inspections are way more accurate and scrutinized, I guess, this time. Mm-hmm. So, yes. And that's what the teams were saying. So when I said Jimmy Johnson failed post-race inspection, well, how could he fail post-race, but not fail pre-race? Like, how does a car become illegal?
Right.
It's just, if they're scraping along the track and, just those little shavings on the bottom of the car, scrape off. Now it might be too low, or, there's very, very, very little wiggle room. And yeah, a place like the Roval, which is kind of a shit show, they're going to be bouncing off of one another. The cars are not going to fit that template when they go back after the race for an inspection.
Right.
So, NASCAR's system is crazy. Like they give them, it's not like it's a one-time and done thing though. Like I think pre-race you'll get like 3 chances, and post-race you get 2. Like they'll tell you what you failed, and you get like 20 minutes to do something about it and then bring it back through the line or something like that. So they give them time to try to work it out, depending on what the issue is. So it's weird that someone would fail post-race twice.
Yeah. We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yeah. It'll come to light soon enough. I have something that I tabled from last week, guys, that I want to run through here, and I tabled it due to time. So I want to try to keep this as brief as possible. Back in March, hopefully we didn't talk about this already. March 19th, Car and Driver released a list, the 15 most beautiful cars on sale in 2020.
Oh God.
So I'm not going to spend a ton of time with you guys like building a new list. I just want to run through this list quick, just read you the names of the cars that they have, and you guys can respond like yes or no. Like, would you even consider this for a beautiful car list? Not like what place it would rank. Would it be the top or would it be 10th? But like, if you think, all right, I'm going to sit and make a list of beautiful cars, yes or no, would this even make the initial grouping before you start cutting off? Fair?
All right, I'm into it. Yeah.
Fair.
All right. So, number 1 on their list of 15 most beautiful cars for sale in 2020, the Alfa Romeo Giulia.
I guess. I don't know.
Can I qualify it by the exterior and not the interior?
Yes. Okay, that helps. However, and this is something we can obviously talk about at a later date, I worry that my impression of Alfa Romeos has been too colored by Top Gear to make a fair assessment. I actually don't think that car is very good looking, but I feel like I'm expected to say yes.
Right. I feel like they expect me to, and if I don't, I'm somehow not a car person.
Indeed, you are out of the tribe.
I think the nose looks droopy and the back just looks like a BMW. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's anything special, personally.
Yes. So right, no, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so either. So we're all agreed there. Number 2, the Audi RS6 Avant / RS7 is how it's listed here.
Well, that's a weird thing to do.
So either or?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think that car is a striking car. I'd have to see what else is out there as far as, what does it compare to on the list. some reservations. It's not perfect, but I really do like it. I think it is a
big yes on the
car.
Avant. I'm a big yes on it. I think
Yes.
it's fucking glorious.
Some of the outside, like what looks like kind of like the brake air scoops on the front fascia, I think are a bit much. If you just tone those down a little bit, it would be perfect, but it's still a great looking car.
Yeah, I think it's. No, I've got it open here on my screen here as I'm scrolling through the list. So I think it looks gorgeous. They're showing the RS7 though; they're not showing the Avant. But I would put this up. I would at least again consider this one for my list if I were making one.
Yeah, definitely.
Number 3, Aston Martin DBS Superleggera.
No.
Andrew, I kind of feel the same way about this that you did about the Alpha. Like, because Astons are normally so gorgeous, like you want to say yes because it's Aston, but the grill on this one is like a whale shark.
I think it's
too big.
Honestly,
it's too much grill. I like the back though.
My biggest problem with it is that it looks like a Mercedes.
Really?
Yeah. I think that, I mean, obviously not just because there's a Mercedes engine in it now. I think there's some styling influence too, and I'm just not about it.
Yeah, I'm a no on this one. There's a lot of other Astons I would definitely say yes to, but this is the one I would probably say no.
Yeah.
Tristan, same thing?
I'm not confident in that as a yes, so I'm going to have to go with no.
Okay. Number 4, BMW 8 Series Grand Coupe.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no.
Hell no.
No.
It looks like a BMW.
Doing?
Like there's nothing special about it.
Who made this?
Car and driver.
I know who it was.
Maxwell B. Mortimer and Daniel Golson, to be exact.
Well, there you go.
Classic Mortimer.
And Golson.
All right.
No, the back is dumb.
The back is dumb.
Like, the front just looks like a BMW, and that's fine. Like, the front looks fine. It's a BMW, but the back is dumb.
Yeah. It has many problems.
I drove a 4 Series Grand Coupe, and that's pretty good. This is not.
All right. Number 5, Chiron.
No.
No.
Nope. Moving on. Number 6, Ford GT.
Wait, what is it? This is best looking or most beautiful?
Most beautiful cars on sale for 2020.
No, I'm going to go with not beautiful.
Not beautiful at all.
I think it's striking, and I think it has a very clear intent, and it looks good, but it looks good the way like a craggy mountain looks good. It's not beautiful. Indeed. It's majestic, maybe, but not beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Every time I see one, like I do a double take when I see one in real life. But again, beautiful may not be the word I go for here.
No.
All right, number 7, Infiniti Q60.
Which one is that? The car?
It's the coupe, the 2-door.
That car hasn't changed in 12 years. No, it looked fantastic 10 ago. No.
Yeah, it just looks like a Nissan now.
Which comes by that, honestly.
Yeah, that's
I know, but like they didn't do a good job of making it not that.
Not at all.
All right, number 8, Lexus LC.
I say yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I love that car.
I don't even know why.
All right, agreed there. I'm just ready for Andrew to explode at this one. Number 9, Mazda 3.
That's dumb. No. See, I'm not gonna get that mad at an obvious troll, and that's what that is.
That's fair. I don't think so, Tristan.
No, I think it looks like the bad internal combustion engine cousin of the Tesla Model 3.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I don't like those either.
Mine's right there.
Damn.
That was something.
All right.
I mean, I get it. That's like the thing that you lead off with. You won't believe what they, but no, don't do that to me. I'm not interested. And not one Ferrari.
Not yet. Number 10, Mercedes-Benz S-Class.
Couldn't tell you what it looks like, so no.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say that they're always going to look good because that's kind of what they do. But I don't think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be very German and very well put together, and it's going to look fine. But I'm not going to go with beautiful.
All right.
That's the job of the S-Class, is to get you there in.
All right.
Not style, just there. Maybe comfort.
Yeah, comfort.
Definite.
Comfort and class.
Yeah.
Number 11, Polestar 1.
Sure, I guess. That's another one I feel obligated to have an opinion on, and I don't think I do. I think it's, yeah, sure, whatever.
I like the front 3/4 of it, like to about where the rear wheel well starts. I think looks really good, and then it's kind of like we say with Chevy sometimes. The Chevy designers, like, they just stopped.
But then they remembered that they needed to make taillights.
Yeah, exactly.
Chevy doesn't do that sometimes. They just go all the way to the end. At least Volvo put taillights on it that are at least kind of interesting. It's super Scandinavian.
Definitely.
I will give them that. If that is your aesthetic, I can see why you would think it's beautiful.
So do you think it's beautiful?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
I would say yes.
Okay.
But I see why it could be off-putting.
Got it.
But I say yes.
Got it. Well, I said yes to over half of it, so I'll say yes too. I'll round up. The next one, 12 of 15, the Porsche 911 992.
No.
Nope.
I don't.
Not the base.
No, you'd have to. Yeah, that's the thing. Is that sure when you start putting letters after it, maybe. And I do like that they tried to go somewhere with like the 4 projector headlamps and the little skinny taillights. Like I like the effort. They made it clearly a 911, but they like tried to work some style into it. But the base one doesn't get there.
Not at all, especially when and I know I've said this a couple times now, what I'm realizing more and more is that the people who buy 911s are what have ruined 911s for me so thoroughly now that they've moved on from having one design for the past 2 decades. So don't ever show me silver 911s. Never show me them. I won't care.
The one in this picture is silver.
I know it is, and I don't even know
I
this.
found a yellow
I
one.
know it's silver.
When I looked at the pictures, I found a yellow one, which was good. That was good.
Yeah, those can be good, but anyways.
Anywho, we got 3 more left, guys. Number 13 on the list, also from Porsche, the Taycan.
No, that car is very, very ugly.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, sadly, I agree.
All right, moving on then. Number 14, the Volkswagen Arteon.
Which one is that? The big car?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big. It's the CC replacement.
CC was better.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree that the CC is better, but I still like it.
Fair.
I don't know if I would say beautiful. Again, weirdly majestic in kind of a monolithic, hacked from stone kind of thing. But
yep.
I would stop short of the word beautiful. It looks good. I like the way it looks. But that's about as far as I can go.
All right. And last on the list, the Volvo V60.
Yes. I really like that. I actually really like it.
Yep, me too. Yep. So they ended with a good one.
One good one on the whole list.
No, there was a couple. The LC was a good one.
RS6?
RS6 was a good one. So there you go, folks.
There were like 5 between all of us.
Yeah, 5 of the 15 there. So good job, car driver.
Thanks for the episode idea, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. We'll be doing that.
Episode title, The Actual Most Beautiful Cars You Can Get By.
Right? Yeah, I don't know how we're going to get that 488 past Tristan, Nick, but we'll figure it out.
I don't think they look bad. I just don't know which one's which.
That's fair.
All right. Anybody have anything else, or are we going to jump into our Olympics here?
I was going to say, what are we doing?
Olympics.
Let's compete in the car Olympics. We will do that right after this break. All right, everybody, we're back, and we're about to get into our Olympic competitions. But before we do, real quick, we'd like to remind you how to get a hold of us. We have our very own website. It is checkenginepodcast.com. Associated with that, we have an email address, inbox@checkenginepodcast.com. We're also on social media. You can find us on Facebook if you search Check Engine Podcast. Andrew, you mentioned some stuff coming through Twitter today. Where can they find us on Twitter?
At Check Engine Pod, the Check Engine Podcast Twitter account, now with 75% more car content than previously.
Yeah.
That is by weight, not by volume.
Nice.
Percent by weight.
That's right.
That's awesome. Tristan, where can they find us on Instagram?
Also at Check Engine Pod, where we just have 75% more content.
Car or otherwise. And you should be happy about it.
That's right. Tristan's been killing it.
He has been doing a good job lately. So, folks, be sure to like, follow, share, post, DM, reach out how and when you can. You can ask us questions to answer on the air. You can let us know what topics you'd like or you don't like. You can give us ideas for episode topics. All of those things. Just feel free. Reach out anytime. Thank you in advance. Now,
tell us what sandwiches you would eat as ice cream.
Yes, let us know what sandwich you would eat as ice cream. That is
not none. If it's not none, you're my least favorite.
Honestly, you're just scared. It's fine.
It is crucially important that you answer this question.
Some things are okay to be scared of, like death and sandwiches as ice cream, which may lead to death.
No. The death of boredom, maybe. Let's talk about some goddamn cars. What's wrong with you?
Anyway, it's time for the Car Olympics. We set up the games last week. Over the course of this past week, while we were off air, we chose our countries and we picked our cars. And now it's time to, the best way we can, host Car Olympics on a podcast. So, Andrew, how would you think we go about teeing this up?
I mean, I think the best way to do it would be to just kind of go down our events and say what we picked. But here's the question, and this is a critical one for something like the Olympics. You can't, they never do the big events, right? They never do the 100-meter on day one. That's always a little later down the line. So I guess my question would be, where do we start if not with the big name events?
That's a good question. Well,
I mean, with some of the spectacle first.
That's true. Spectacle is important, but I think we start with something a little more pedestrian, perhaps, but definitely a little bit more practical and almost consumer oriented. We're going to start with 0, 100 to 0, a modified drag race. You start your car off the line, get it to 100 miles an hour, slam on the brakes hard as you can, down to 0 again. Shortest distance wins.
Shortest distance wins. So, Andrew, since you teed it up, you wanna present your Japan's representative?
Sure. Well, I'll walk you through a little bit of the process here. It's super hard to pick Japan and not just pick the GTR Nismo for everything. Because, I mean, obviously in this scenario, you're guaranteed a podium in any case, but I feel like that car's in any of the events we picked, except for like the towing and off-road, probably wouldn't finish lower than 5th, 7th, depending on the other cars that were in play at any given time. But I did try to avoid that. Just picking one car is so boring, so one note. So I say all that to say that the car that I'm picking for this is the Lexus LFA Nürburgring package. Fairly rare car, but so it's a modified, tracked out, hardened version of the LFA, which was already a pretty hardcore car. They didn't even have time to put cup holders in. They were busy making it so raw. So the 0 to 100 time is 7.5 seconds.
Wow.
Which is pretty quick, although there are obviously faster cars. But the key, because it's a track car, carbon brakes, and they're fucking giant. And I mean, they fill the entire 20-inch wheel in a car that's
right
decently light. It's just a little over 3,000 pounds. So I think that would do well here.
That's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
Now, are we talking about miles per hour or kph?
Well, I was assuming miles per hour. However, I mean, I would still pick the same car if it's KM.
Right. I'm just trying to find if I could see if I've got numbers for mine when it comes to that.
Gotcha. I don't have numbers for everything, by the way. I just happen to have a number for that.
Right. I don't have numbers for everything either, Tristan. So don't.
No, I'm just searching. I'm just curious now. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, while you're searching, Tristan, I'll present mine from the USA.
All right.
Trying to figure out different ways to work in this manufacturer. And I kind of took the opposite approach here to Andrew, because, Andrew, you presented a car that's got massive brakes and is going to stop really quick. Mm-hmm. My car may not stop as quick because it doesn't have brakes that are that good and it's much heavier. But I'm banking on the fact that it's going to get to 100 so fast it's going to make up for what it lacks in braking. It's going to make up for the acceleration portion, and it's going to all even out and hopefully come out in my favor. So this is the event that the USA will present the Tesla Model S Plaid.
I knew you were going to say that as soon as you were saying, uh-oh.
It's super heavy. Especially with the extra batteries, and the brakes are not as good. I just looked it up. The Model S braking distance from 60 to 0 is 133 feet, which isn't terrible. It's around the range of a BMW, it looks like. So it's not awful, but that's just a regular Model S. The Plaid is not out yet, so there's not a lot of numbers on this. I'm assuming it's going to be better. So I know it's heavier. I know the brakes aren't going to be as good as the LFA. But again, I think this thing can get from 0 to 100 so quickly in such a short distance that I'll make up for all that on the front end during the acceleration.
Quite possible.
All right. What was your distance in feet?
I just had a 0 to 100 time, not distance, but I did also find that the 60 to 0 braking distance on the LFA was 94 feet, which is apparently quite good. I don't know.
Holy shit, that's 40 feet better than the Tesla.
I did happen to find that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my, yeah. So, okay. So mine, I think that I might have this one.
All right.
For my choice, it is the Porsche 918 Spyder. So in this case, it's going to be 0 to 60. Sorry, it's not 0 to 160 kph, which is 100 miles an hour, in 4.6 seconds.
Damn, that's quick.
And what I'm trying to find is the stopping distance. And that's the question. I believe it says 37.8, but I don't know if that's feet or meters.
That must be meters. That must be.
Because in meters, that's a really long way in feet. That's like 124 feet.
But yeah, it can't stop in 23 feet. Your brain would come out of your eyes and go back in your mouth.
38 meters.
38 meters, right.
Would be
120 some feet.
Right. And that's
more in line with the numbers we've seen.
Right. And that's the question and I don't know for sure. But that's I just got a number and I forgot to see the, what that meant. I forgot if it was in meters or feet, but, overall the 2:160 time, is very good.
Yeah.
And it's 0 to 16 in 7 feet.
Sort of a strange metric, but
right.
Yeah, we need 0 to 16. If you need to get out of your garage really fast.
Yeah, right. I think they were just calculating it based on how much the total diameter of one of the tires was. By the time your tire goes around once, you've gone.
Gotcha.
Actually, I found my source. See if I can figure out what this means here. So
I guess it would depend on how much acceleration plays into it, because obviously it does, but yeah, that would be interesting. I would like to see that.
Yeah. So it's 30. It's from 70. It's 37.8 meters, which is shorter than the Noble M600, the 488 GTB, the 720S, the NSX, the Aventador, basically everything else. So it does pretty well. That's my entry. Again, unless we actually run them, who really knows? But I feel like it's a solid entry.
Definitely.
Oh, totally. Anytime you put the 918, you can put the 918 all the way down this list.
Right.
Mile drag, you can do the mile drag. You can do the 10-hour endurance. You can do.
Try not to do. I have rationale for not putting it everywhere. So we'll see.
That's a good one. That's good.
What's next?
I feel like we need a little more spectacle to draw people's interest in. So I'm nominating for our next event, one of the drifting events, either the speed and style, the knockout races, or the Python drift.
Which one are you picking of the two?
Let's go.
You want.
No, I want to go with speed and style first, because I feel like the Python drift is something we could tease. Like that could be something that Bob Costas is talking about every day for a week,
sure,
leading up to the actual event.
The first running
coming up, as you know, coming up on Friday evening in prime time will be the first running of the Python drift. Let's go with speed and style here for event number 2.
Alrighty.
So for those who maybe didn't listen last week and are just picking it up this week or forgot what we talked about last week, speed and style is a combination of like drifting and being judged on, how far out you can get the tail end of the car, how close you can get to the gates that you have to pass through. But there's also a time element. You have to, you can't just spend all your time going like super, super slow and then drifting through the corner. Like you have to run the course in a certain amount of time as well. And it's a one-on-one knockout, like a bracket style competition. So we only have 3 here. Obviously there's going to be more cars competing if we actually do this. But my entry from the US is the Camaro ZL1.
Yeah, that's a fair choice.
So it's obviously rear wheel drive and it's got a ton of power. So it's going to be easy to break the back end loose to do this. But we know from different magazines doing different reviews, getting that car out on the track, it is a monster. It it is stable enough. And in drifting, there's a lot of finesse required. Once you actually break the rear end loose, to hold the drift takes a lot of stability with the car, obviously with the driver too, and his or her right foot. But I think the ZL1 has that perfect combination of, okay, if we just want to break the rear loose, drop a gear and gun it. But now it's stable enough where I can hold that slide all the way through these corners.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. That kind of changes what I was thinking, because my initial thought for this event, and I might still go with it in the end, because I would really actually like to see this in real life, would be the ZL1 versus the Lexus RCF Track Edition.
Ooh.
I would love to see that in real life. Obviously, rear-wheel drive, nice and torquey, all that good stuff. But the difference is between the two, I just did a little looking up here. The Camaro is just a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the skid pad. It can pull harder. But that doesn't necessarily help you in drifting, because you want it to cut loose. So I think that would actually be a really compelling matchup to see in real life. I kind of want this now.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun part of this event, is because it's speed and style. Like, getting across the line first gets you some points, but also drift style gets you points too. Mm-hmm. And if you can hold a nice slide, but you can't get it as wildly sideways and swinging the tail around back and forth, because it's so sticky, mm-hmm. Then that'll be trouble. So, I would be curious to watch that. As a third entry into this, let me tell you, there are lots of things that German cars are great for. Drifting is not one of them. So there is there's something to be said. I almost went with one of the older generation, the E36 M3. Still has a handbrake, pure rear wheel drive, but I just think it's not fast enough. I think you're going to end up getting stomped actually in the speed part. If it were a pure drift competition, maybe. So I went with something with a little bit more gusto. I went with the AMG E63 S-Class.
Ooh.
What? Not the GT?
No. Because this car actually has a dedicated drift mode.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right.
Your
very favorite thing in the whole world.
I was going to say, it's your favorite feature ever on a car.
Yep. No, and in this case, really all that does is it allows you to drift. It disables traction control. It's actually the E63S is actually all-wheel drive, so it disengages the front drive shaft, sends all the torque to the rear. And I think with that heavy car, it's gonna be a trick to control. But if you can do it, the heavy cars are the ones that can generate simply giant plumes of smoke. A lot of style, drifting an S-Class around. But I think that was by far my weakest event.
That's not a bad choice. I mean, if you say it's your weakest event and you come at it with a car with a drift mode,
yeah, that's a good point.
I think you're in good shape for the entire overall event if your weakest category has a drift stick.
See, but it's not really that. It's not like a just turn the joystick and it drifts for you.
Yeah,
it just basically allows you to drift. So, which which seems to imply that that's not what it's for. Like, you can do this, but we don't really want you to, unless you go through all these hoops to engage the mode in which you can. So, we'll see.
Right. And Andrew, your official choice was the RCF Track Edition then.
Yeah. I almost changed it to the Supra. But then I thought V8 versus V8. I mean, really, those two cars, the RCF and the Camaro, would be a good matchup on any racetrack in any event. Functionally, I would actually like to lay my eyes upon that. I would like to witness that anywhere. So, yeah, I stuck with it.
All right, cool. Well, Andrew, you and I both picked an event. Let's let Tristan do number 3.
All right, let's get out of the glitz and glamour of the speed and style drifting, and let's get down into the mud. Let's do the sled/truck pull.
Okay.
All right. What you got?
I have a questionable entry.
I know. I do too.
It might be considered doping. I don't know.
Well, how much did you pay off the committee? It shouldn't matter.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. There's adequate bribing here. It should fly. I'm going to go with the Mercedes Unimog.
Really?
Okay.
It is. You can spec it out up to 24 forward ratios.
Just keep grabbing gears.
That's pretty funny.
Exactly.
Just keep them coming. All of them. Give me all gear.
Or, if that's not utilitarian enough for you, how about an infinitely variable hydrostatic transmission? Or possibly a torque converter so that you can pull things down rails like a locomotive.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's mine. It has 4 wheels. It can go on the actual road up to 60 miles an hour. So I consider it a car/truck, whatever. But it's basically entering a tractor in this poll.
It is indeed.
But you can put license plates on it.
If it's street legal and you can buy it.
Exactly.
I guess it works.
That's
Andrew?
my entry.
Andrew,
right,
what do you got here?
Well, I also thought outside the box because I thought, Japan does so many things well. And I started with the usual suspects, right? Your Tundras, your Titans. And I thought, no. That's not good enough because there's something else that Japan makes an awful lot of. Commercial grade. Well, yes, trains, actual trains. Commercial grade semi-trucks.
Oh,
So I picked the UD Quester, 80 tons, 80-ton haul capacity, 6x4, diesel, flat front truck.
I have never heard of it.
Which is fair.
Right now.
The funny thing is, obviously, we're not doing this on rails, but the funny thing is, if you get it with the rail conversion, the Unimog has a number I didn't think I could see on a vehicle that was not an actual locomotive. You can pull 1,000 tons as long as it's on rails.
This is the Japanese truck that had the highest towing capacity. And again, that might be shit for actual competitions like this. I have no idea because obviously part of it is momentum. But I'm thinking that truck might do okay. 460 foot-pounds of torque. I think we might be all right.
Okay. You good on both you guys for thinking outside the box. I thought so far inside the box that I almost dropped out the bottom.
So far inside, he can't find his way out again.
Yeah, exactly. I did I chose the Ram 3500.
Over. You're out of here.
Yep.
I mean, engine to engine, it's got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque.
That is true.
But it only has a single gear low range gearbox.
Indeed.
Right.
Yours probably has 16, Andrew, as a semi.
It does.
Yeah. And the 24 on the Unimog.
And I don't know how many like how many pounds the sled is we're towing. Like,
me neither.
Like the variable weight sliding weight thing. But this thing, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque and 35,000 pounds towing capacity in the 3,500. So I figured that sled may not be over 35,000 pounds. So I might be in good shape. And then you guys drop Unimogs and Questers on my ass.
I really expected like a Freightliner from you.
A Mack
truck.
Yeah.
You guys are thinking way deeper than I did. I was just going like standard road vehicles, like consumer cars.
That's 5D chess, man.
Yeah. Not a chess player.
I was happy. I'm happy Tristan thought along the same lines, because I feel like I would have looked like an asshole if I brought that up just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I brought a vehicle that is actually able to be spec'd from the factory to plow. It's basically a tractor. So
it is. It really is.
It's cheating. So
made me look like the asshole then.
That was a 2-horse race. Yeah.
All right, Andrew. It's your event now. So we've done the 0-100 to 0. We've done the speed and style drift event, and then we've done the sled/tractor/truck pull.
Yeah. Well, I'll do this one because it was an event that I would champion in real life and am championing in real life. The moving slalom, or
yes,
as the commoners call it, passing contest. The theory here being on the track, there will be, we have the technology to do this now, AI-driven cars driving a set speed and taking the exact racing line around the track. All cars are spaced safely, probably 5-6 car lengths between them. They're all doing exactly the same speed. They're all driving exactly the same line. Most passes in a certain set amount of laps, depending on the track, probably 3-4 laps, wins. And is there any reason for me to dick around with the choice here? It's the GTR. It's the GTR Nismo.
Fair.
Say no more.
That's it. That's all I have to say. That's it.
Unless I'm guessing you're going to bring it up again somewhere, but I was thinking you're going to use that for some sort of drag or acceleration competition as well. So
it's
surprised that the first I heard of it is in a passing competition, but it's a pretty good all rounder.
Well, the thing about the GTR, when I was just kind of poking around idly to see, maybe what I might hear from you guys in this, in this contest specifically, because I would love to see this event in real life. The mistake I kept making, on like those comparison pages, I kept reading the numbers reading the lower number, assuming it was the other car. The weird thing about the GTR is that it wins on tracks in places you would never expect. It crushes the 911 GT3 around the Nürburgring, for example, by like 12 seconds. It's not close. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, they don't call it Godzilla for nothing.
Yeah, it's a seriously impressive car, especially in an event like this, potentially, I think, where agility is big, that moving power is big, and you have to make sure that the car can maintain speed through corners. The GTR is aces at all of those.
That is true. Now all they need to do is update the looks, and not with the TAL design like the one they just did.
Oh, God, I know.
It looks like ass.
Mm-hmm.
Man, good pick. For my pick here, this is one where I thought I did go outside the box a little bit. This wasn't just your standard Ford, Chevy, Chrysler pick on this one. I based this on the assumption that this track is going to be rather short and tight. Like, we're not going to run this competition at, say, like a Road America or La Sarthe. Like, this is going to be a shorter track, so a tighter track. So I wanted something well balanced. I wanted something nimble, because it's going to have to go offline. Overall top speed, like straight line speed, isn't going to be too important here. So Andrew, you're actually somewhat familiar with this because we saw this car last year in person. I picked the Saleen S1.
Nice.
It is a mid-engined. It is a turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's got 450 horsepower, which it's good. It's good for a little sports car. It's not GTR number as far as horsepower, but it only weighs 2,700 pounds.
Yeah, it's like a feather.
So it is. So if I'm thinking of a car that's going to be able to weave in and out of essentially moving slaloms, I don't think the Camaro can do it. The C8 maybe, but I don't think it can be that maneuverable. So I'm going to pick the Saleen S1.
I think that's actually a really good pick.
Yeah, and that I agree. The thing that I took into consideration with mine was overall track space as well. So I actually did end up going with the 911 GT3 RS because it does come right. I mean, it does come pretty high up those charts. It's not the GT2 RS from 2017, which is the second overall fastest time around the ring right now.
I love that car.
But it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth highest after the Radical SR8, the Huracan, another SR8, the GT2 RS, and the Aventador. So it does pretty well around the ring. It has something that I will reference, later in my research, kind of wrap it all together. You will see this car again. Not
surprising.
Right. And, I think it's something and it's a little narrower than normal. I know the back end can be a little wide, but it's not as wide as, a lot of the, supercar class cars. So I feel being able to sneak inside or outside of people, near the edge of the track is going to be a benefit with this moving slalom, especially when you don't know when you're going to come into, contention with them. Is it going to be at a narrow part of the track? Is it going to be, over the hill when you're going for the apex and you got to duck outside or inside? And I think being small is a benefit. That was kind of what I was looking at is, sure, I could go with like an R8 or something and, do that one. But it is, as much as we deride the 911s, it's just kind of boring, and they are, in my opinion. It's a hell of a car for going fast in, and it's not huge. So,
yeah, definitely good. I like that. I would again, obviously I want to see this event, but I would like to see that matchup specifically.
Right.
And again, I think it really depends on the room. Like if we're at a track that has any sort of decent straightaway in it, I mean, both you guys are going to wax my little Saleen, but if this is like a shorter track, like a Charlotte Roval or maybe like a Mid-Ohio or something like that, that's super tight and windy, my little Saleen might be able to impress some people. I think overall, though, I think the GTR is, as far as just overall combination, I would say if I were to be a betting person for this event, I would probably put my money on the GTR for this.
I think I probably would too, just because of the weird ways in which it creeps up on track times. It's just like, really? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, it's my turn to introduce an event here, right?
It is.
All right, so we're just about halfway through our Olympics at this point. We're one event away or so from being there. So I think it's a good time to slot in probably the most classic car competition out there, and that is the quarter-mile drag. As long as there's been cars, there's been a quarter-mile drag, or there's drag races of some kind. So this is something that's going to be a staple of any sort of motorsport Olympics, and I think we got to get it in here. It's a good spot to put it right in the middle of our event. So from the USA, probably no surprise to anybody out there who knows about this car, but I'm bringing the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon.
Very sensible pick.
9.65 second quarter mile off the lot.
That is really
700 plus horsepower. As far as like standard production cars go, the fastest quarter mile car in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
let's be clear. That's all Dodge does. Let's just go a quarter mile really fast. Who cares about stopping? That's why I didn't put it in the 0-100 to 0. It's not about handling. That's why I didn't put in any of the circuit events. It's just, let's go from here to the lights, quarter mile away. And that's all Dodge does, and they do it really well.
Yeah, yep. Andrew, what you got?
Well, I picked an unknown for this event. The car that I picked is 100% real. It actually exists. It is currently in production with delivery starting at the end of this year. It's from a company that I had never heard of before. However, you can actually, there's like video of this car, meaning it's not a car in the sense that Tesla Roadster is a car. This is an actual vehicle. It's called it's called the Spark Owl.
Okay.
I feel like it probably sounds cooler in Japanese, if I had to guess.
Probably.
Not really sure. But the thing about this car is that it goes from 0 to 60 in 1.69 seconds.
Damn. No.
Yes, and you can see it on YouTube. And it's horrifying. It's the scariest shit I've ever seen in my whole life.
I've got it here. A Spark Owl hits 62 miles an hour in 1.9 seconds.
It's absolutely horrifying. Of course, the problem about this car not actually being in anyone's hands is that everything else is completely unknown. So once it hits 60, does it just immediately die and then like has no juice for the rest of the quarter mile? It's possible. But I would place my bets on this car being quite fast in the quarter. And yes, I would also pick it for the 1 mile. Probably.
Maybe.
It is estimated at roughly 2 million euros.
Oh yeah, quite expensive.
Quite expensive.
Man, if they were looking for a bird to name a really fast car after, I'm not sure an owl would be the one I would choose.
So it's owl in Japanese is fukuro. I guess it's not that cool.
Anyway. Damn. So it's going to beat my demon off the line. But from the eighth mile on,
who knows?
What happens on the top end?
Literally no one knows.
Yeah. Tristan, what do you got?
I don't have anything like that. It's not really what the Germans do, like drifting either. However, I have a fairly decent entry. It's the 918 Spider again. Which to be fair, Nick, stacked up to yours, it's not bad.
No, I'm not laughing at your choice at all.
It's a 9.9 second quarter mile.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
The electric motors get you off the line, and then your turbocharged V8 is spinning you all the way to the end of the quarter mile. And it's, only 9.9. It's a sub 10 quarter mile. So it's not bad. 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds.
Hey, I'm not laughing at the choice at all. Listen,
but against this owl thing, it seems laughable at this point. I don't know what to do anymore.
We don't know. I had to pick it because I watched the video on YouTube and was frightened. I was actually frightened by it. I do not appreciate, nor do I want to see this kind of speed because it's scampering. I don't know. It's really hard to describe. I would encourage everyone to like the video's not that exciting. It's literally outside the factory, someone filming them driving next to the factory, and the guy goes 0 to 60 to 0 in the length of a small manufacturing building, and it's like, oh shit. It's very mind bending. It looks like a video game.
It looks like it shouldn't happen.
Yeah. And you worry for the safety of the man.
Because it's funny. I've watched this video, and it has it on Hoosier tires.
It does. It's there on Hoosiers.
It's on racing slicks.
It's pretty funny.
Damn.
I look forward to coverage on this car. Hopefully, I mean, with COVID, who the hell knows anymore? But I would imagine by sometime next year, we should be seeing this car in the hands of someone. Someone's going to have it, and they will let us know whether or not they die.
And if they don't let us know, then they're dead.
Then we know the answer. Yes, that is correct.
The upside is also this car looks like the actual Batmobile, so it's super cool.
It does. Why didn't they call it the Bat's not much better, but
also not fast.
Not worse.
The Owlmobile.
Yes.
Oh man, Tristan, what's our next event?
Can we just finish off the drag? Because I think Andrew already said his is going to be the same. Mine's going to be the same too.
Is everyone picking the same?
Nope.
Oh shit! A new challenger. Let's hear it.
So Andrew, you are doing the Spark, and Tristan, you're doing the 918 again.
I am.
I think I am. Tell us what your challenger is, and then I'll tell you if I want to change my answer.
So my original pick for this, up until today, I had it written down was the Ford GT, because it did the mile in about 28 seconds and it topped out about 185 miles an hour at the end of the run. So right at the 1 mile mark where they start hitting the brakes. I thought that's pretty impressive. But then my super nice co-host informed me of a car called the Hennessy Venom GT, which I had completely forgotten about.
Smoking.
Even existed. I forgot it even existed, and it almost didn't. There's only 13 of them made. But it's 1,100 horsepower, and I didn't run the math back to see what this would equate to in a mile, but it did go to the Kennedy Space Center, and at the end of a 2.3 mile runway was clocked at 270.9 miles an hour.
Such a stupid amount of speed.
So that's going to be my pick for the mile.
I think in the face of that, I better stick with the owl.
Yeah, I mean, basically, my only choice is the most extreme car that Germany makes.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah. All right. So there we go.
I did find a bunch of cool stuff. They're all modified, of course, but there's a really cool place, the Texas Mile, where they do it's running on a 1.5 mile section of highway. So, and it's like they break mile times there all the time. Modified Ford GT ran a 1 mile speed of 290, damn near 4 miles an hour.
Yes.
Nice.
And then it was in a Gulf livery too, and it did it.
Yeah, so that's what I was when I was investigating mile times. A lot of those are there, and I'll tell you, in their top 10, there are a lot of modified 911 GT3s.
Yes,
of course. Lot. But going with stock cars, it's got to be the 918.
Fair enough. Does that bring it back to Andrew for the next event?
I guess it does, doesn't it? Well, no need to mince words here. I will choose an event that I will proceed to absolutely crush.
I know where this is going.
And of course, it is the Multi-Surface Rally Time Attack event. I have all the rally cars. They're all on my side, and I pick all of them. No,
one for each surface. You could just rotate them through.
Exactly. No, in all honesty, the Japanese make the best rally cars, and there are some.
They don't have all the winners.
Well, of course not. No one has all the winners. However, they do have the best rally cars. So The issue is I'm torn between two deeply impressive contestants, right? We have the STI S209, or we could go with some true classic rally flavor. The final Evo X, which is the FQ 440, which is a lot like the S209, but with 440 fucking horsepower and a 5-speed manual because rally.
Fair.
That's the FQ 440 or 400, you said?
The FQ 440. They did make an FQ 400, but that wasn't rally enough. So they gave it 40 extra horsepower and some more torque and a 5-speed manual gearbox and a 30 gigabyte hard drive for your music. How convenient.
Oh, wow.
Convenient. Nice.
I mean, perfect. You guys know my head says the Subaru because it's newer and blah, 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 blah. My heart wants the Evo, and I think that's just what I have to pick.
I don't have a challenger for either one of them, so I really don't care. But Tristan, you go ahead, because mine might take some explaining.
So most of the rally cars that come out of Germany, a lot of Europe, Germany, because I was like, what can I do with former World Rally Championship winners? Not much, because they're all wildly modified. It's like from 2003, you had the Impreza, and all the way up until the most recent 2019 championship, it was Citroens and Volkswagens and Ford Fiestas. But it's like the Polo and the Fiesta, not known in their stock form for blinding speed.
Right. And of course, I mean, the car that they race in rally now is, I mean, the rules of rally make it so that rally cars, as the public knows them, aren't really the rally cars because no one wants to stay
exactly.
But,
yeah. Now, what I have found is that to win, you need to have your car driven by either someone from Finland whose name ends in Enen, or a person named Sebastian from France.
Very true.
Either Loeb or Ogier, most recently. That was all the research I did, and it was utterly unhelpful. So I went with my gut and said, yeah, let's go with the RS3.
That, I think, is a really good choice, actually.
Because I think when Nick was describing it, it's like, okay, multi-surface rally, and it's not one stage right into the next. You can go through and change your suspension setup and stuff, but otherwise you can't really suspension and tires. Otherwise you can't really modify the car, though. Mm-hmm. And I think that's as good a shot as any as Germany has at bringing this one home. It's kind of the successor to the OG Quattro, turbo 5-cylinder Quattro, little 4-door. Like that, I think that'll do the trick.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
All right,
I've just been waiting to hear this.
So
yeah, now we're in this one. I want to hear this one.
Here's what happens. Here's what happened here.
What happened was.
So what happened was, funny story. Ford stopped making cars, and Ford stopped making the Focus RS, which would have been my choice for this. So I was basically fucked. Because Cadillac doesn't have anything, Lincoln doesn't have anything, GMC doesn't have anything, Chevy, well, a Spark with 140 horsepower, they don't have anything. So the U.S. does not rally, period. So I just started thinking about what makes up a rally. Multi-surfaces. Well, we need a little bit of ride height there. That's fine. There's not a ton of spots where like huge top speed, like a ton of throttle, maybe a tarmac, maybe a tarmac section, but a lot of it is tight switchback windy corners where you're going to need all-wheel drive and you're going to need a lot of torque to get out of those low-speed corners. So what has that ride height? What has some torque and what has all-wheel drive?
Ford Raptor.
Close. The Ford Mustang Mach-E GT Performance Edition.
You're an insane person. You're legally insane.
That's right. And while I'm doing it, I'm not hurting the environment either.
Oh, God.
I am.
You will when the battery overheats and spills all over the track.
No, this is the performance edition. Weren't you listening?
I mean, I guess as your only option, did you consider anything like the Edge ST?
Gross.
Nah.
Don't be gross.
No. Come on.
Well, look at what he has. That's the electric version of the Edge ST. Come on, my man. Listen to me.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can see what disadvantage I'm at here. I'm just making the best of a bad situation.
Don't worry, we'll get to mine.
I am kind of wowed. I think it's a gutsy choice.
I'm throwing a Hail Mary.
As a general concept, I am not against the idea of electric rally cars at all. I think that could be kind of really cool, but a major danger to all spectators because they would not know when the cars are coming. And so it would basically, terrifying. Although I would definitely see that because, as you know, my least favorite thing about racing is the unbelievable unnecessary noise. Stop that. So doing that out in nature would be great.
So
maybe you could attach bells to them.
Very small bells.
Yeah, like sheep or cows.
That would be hilarious.
So yeah, that's my pick. Not expecting much out of it. This was my throwaway event for sure.
Yeah, no, I had this one.
Yeah, you did.
I was definitely spoiled for choice. I mean, just in the STIs that have been released in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, if we can go back all time, I feel like, the Quattro would have been a decent choice, but it's just not in stock form. Even then, it wasn't that fast. It took all the turbocharging and removing the exhaust to really do it. So I figure RS3 is fast enough if you can then make it rally enough.
Definitely.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And obviously, because we're multi-surfers with street cars, there aren't going to be like boulders, but.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, gravel, dirt, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Ruts.
Yeah. So congratulations on your gold medal, Japan. And we can move on. Is it my turn? I think it's my turn.
I just went, so.
Next.
I haven't picked one in a while, but I did because I just said let's get the drags over with.
Yes, you did. You just made your quick very fast.
Right.
So my pick, we're going to go back to, let's do some short track racing. We haven't got in the oval yet. And we liked this idea last week of a gauntlet where you start 2 cars from a dead stop on opposite ends of the track. So on an oval would be, front stretch and back stretch. And then the objective is to pass the other person. Just one pass, one complete pass, and you win. And we decided that it would be nice to do this on a short track. Just from the spectator's perspective, you can see the entire thing. Short tracks, especially ones with banking, we were talking about a place like Bristol. Not contrary to popular belief, they're not a power track. They are more of a momentum track. So, utilizing the banking, maintaining corner speed, like in the center of the corner, which is why I'm actually repeating a pick here with the Saline S1. Wow. It may not get the top speed, but if someone is barreling down these relatively short straightaways and then have to dive bomb the brakes just to make it through the corner, my little Saline can just keep up the momentum all the way through and can make up time in the corners.
Okay.
I actually had a very similar strategy. I also took into account we talked about when we were discussing the event, the first time you have to pay for fuel, you're done. So I also tried to bring in fuel economy as well as speed. It wasn't like I'm going to throw a Prius out there or something, but I did try to take into account that it might not be the one you think. It's the Cayman GT4.
Ooh, okay. What's the fuel economy on that?
It's actually, hold on, I have it. Let me get my bookmark out. It's in the 20s, I believe, for various things here. Yes, 23 highway, 5 gallons per 100 miles. So it's pretty good. What I don't know is how that equates to overall tank size, stuff like that. But a lot of these are going to be sports cars, not going to have huge tanks. Researching this, if this were just a pure endurance race as to which car could drive the furthest, regardless of overall fuel capacity or speed, it's all the pickup trucks. They all carry saddlebag tanks, and they can go like 800 miles. Like the EcoBoost F-150 with saddlebag tanks goes like 800 miles on a tank of gas. Like, it's ridiculous. So that's not what I was going for either. But I feel it's a good balance.
Alrighty. That's a good pick. Andrew, what do you got?
We all thought about this very similarly. So my pick is very obviously the Acura NSX. Also, economy in the 20s. I think it's 21 combined, something like that. 16 gallon tank. I think it's like 15.6 gallons, something like that. The primary difference being that it has 573 horsepower. And a little hybrid for whatever that gets you. Probably not much at race speeds. However, it sounds good.
It sounds good.
So we all went mid-engine.
Mid-engine, is that all-wheel drive? Yes?
Oh, shit.
I think it is.
I don't actually know.
I think it is, which would drastically help, again, with that corner momentum.
Why do I not know that? While I look that up, someone else talk.
Tristan, are you picking the next event?
Yeah, I can pick the next event. So
we've got 3 left. Do you need a rundown of what's left, or
it is all? I've got a checklist going.
Okay, good.
I think we've been teasing it, even further. I'm going to keep pushing off, this evening, the first ever running of the Python Drift. However, first, we'll take you to the desert for the Baja 200 off-road contest.
Ooh, that's good.
There you go.
I like what you did.
So
you're a regular sports anchor,
right? But first, let's do something that's not that. So my choice again. I think the choice is going to be the same either way, maybe. But if we can go back to any generation, I would choose a first generation Touareg.
Okay.
They did actually have some Dakar and Baja rally success back in the day. Obviously, these were modified factory teams, all that kind of thing, but it's a good place to start. And even the stock version, the thing I remember was the stock version, Automobile Magazine took it out to drive it around in the desert, and it had to pull the Land Rover camera car out of the sand. So it's capable, relatively fast, especially in its gasoline/petrol form. In diesel form, it's a bit of a stonker. It'll pull anything out of the ground, but it's pretty quick. In the V6 version, good off-road credentials, adjustable ride height, but again, it would have to be modified to really race this, to like pedal to the metal, pell-mell down this course, you need a different suspension. And I think not a lot of things stock are going to have that anyway, at least stock. There are a few. I bet some of you have them. I don't. So that's the closest I have. This was my rally. Germany doesn't make anything that's actually designed for this. They make things they can modify for this. Some Russians just won the FIA actually has a World Cup of Baja style events, and they won this last year, 2019's World Cup of this event in an X3. So
okay,
they can be modified to do this, but stock, meh.
That's fair. That's
Sounds
fair.
Good.
Andrew?
Well, I was a little worried about this event because as you know, as rally heavy as Japan is, you don't think of them as being part of this world, right? I guess this is off-roading, overlanding, whatever Tristan wants to call it today. But how wrong I was, because there are at least well, I don't know this shit. You're the one who likes tents and stuff. I don't know.
Likes tents and stuff. Okay.
Hey,
go ahead. Whatever.
Both the Titan and the Tundra have raced in Dakar in various forms, and both somewhat recently have had some success at it even. So,
as has the Hilux and the Land Cruiser.
Right, of course. The mainstay of the Land Cruiser. And that's what I thought first. That was my first initial thought, simply because when you can't find a picture of a Land Cruiser in a parking lot, they're always in an arid desert.
Yes.
Right. Or jungle.
Or jungle, right, of course. And that's great. That's just fine. But the problem is that the 2020 Titan comes in a color called Baja Sand. So naturally, that's the choice.
I mean, yeah.
Can't lose. Literally cannot lose.
It just blends in. We can't see it. You just pop up at the finish line.
And also 400 horsepower, 431 foot-pounds of torque. A true truck, and they've done, pre-runner versions of this, and they sell all that pro gear for it that they sell you at the auto shows, so you can make it look like you could really do an actual Baja. So, I mean, it's got to have some ability, I would think.
Right.
Agreed. Yeah, they've got the pre-runner versions of the 4Runner. A lot of Toyotas, a lot of Nissans, Mitsubishi Pajeros are frequent Dakar winners.
I never even pulled up Mitsubishi for any of this. Well, except for the, Evo, but I just love that car.
All right. So, for me, it's the Raptor.
Yep.
Of course.
And I'll take my gold medal and we can move on to the next event.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I think they sell them like in race spec.
Honestly, it seems like
they honestly do.
You can get them from Ford Racing, like customer, like just done. Here you go.
Yep. Yeah. So this was my rally. This was my rally from Andrew's perspective. So
mostly.
I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna win. So, Andrew, I think it's you with 2 events to go.
2 events to go?
I was going to say, do we have 2 events to go?
We do.
I might not have a car for one of them then.
Hold on. Oh, shit. Where's my picture of...
I've been running a checklist, and I think we covered them all.
All right, so we've got quarter mile, 1 mile, 0, 100, 0. We did the truck pull. We'll be talking about the Python Drift. We did the passing contest, speed and style, short track. We do have 2 left.
Yep.
Oh, okay. What else we got? Oh, yeah, I checked one that I didn't mean to check. Yeah. I see it now. Never mind. I see it.
Because of the magnitude of one of these events, I think it's finally time for the Python drift.
All right.
Which was an original, which was at least a partial original creation of Tristan's, right?
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So explain it to the ladies and gentlemen, won't you?
All right, folks. So here's the deal. Basically, the goal is to go around a track passing through gates, a la, slalom skiing, that kind of thing, where you got two pylons, you got to go between them. And the goal is to be drifting between them for, various points and technical reasons. However, as you go, the gates will gradually get closer and closer. And then if you hit a gate, that gate does not count. And you have to basically work your way through as many gates as possible, scoring as many points as possible. That's the gist. So, to that end,
that's such a cool event.
It is such a cool event. So cool. I really struggled here because there's just so many options. There's so many different things to consider. So again, I thought about the STI S209, but the problem with that is, according to everyone who's driven it, you can't break it loose. Like it's so gripped on. You're never going to drift.
Even mine, without that level of grip that like the wider tires and stuff have, it's almost not even fun in the winter. Snow almost can't do it. Yeah.
So that's a big issue. And then you're just kind of double dipping with something like the RCF. Although, here, the fact that this car doesn't grip as well as some other cars in its class would also be an issue, simply because you got to be able to do both in this event. So I think with a heavy heart, I have to give the nomination to the Toyota Supra.
I could feel that hurt.
Because the
problem very hard for you. I'm so sorry.
Obviously, you want a car with some agility. Obviously, you want a car that's rear wheel drive to get those to get the right look. And as far as BMWs go, this might just be the best one.
Which again, as we talked about, none of this, who actually owns the company. My question is, can we object on who actually builds the car?
You can, but remember, in the Olympics, there are many athletes who qualify to compete for more than one country.
That is true.
Or they live in one country and compete for somebody else. How many people
or train in another?
I was going to say, how many people train? Like, I would say half of the Olympic athletes, no matter what country they represent, train in the U.S.
True.
So does that mean, Tristan, you're doing the Z4?
No, actually, I have something else.
Foolish human. Sound like an anime villain there.
No. No. So actually, up my sleeve is the A45 AMG.
Ooh! Wow!
A purely ridiculous little hatchback. For any of our American listeners who are not familiar, it has actual clutch packs in the front that can end up basically engaging drift mode like a Focus RS. It's basically the German Focus RS. It allows immense control over the drift because you're actually using the torque from the front wheels and the rear wheels to control how loose the car gets. And it has a 3-liter inline 4 cranking out 382 horsepower.
That thing is the hottest of hot hatch.
Yeah. So I was watching some videos in the AMG tune, 416 horsepower.
It's silly.
out of 3 liters. So that's, like I said, watching the videos, the drift mode, because it shuffles torque around between the front and the rear wheels to maintain basically a specific angle. It's going to allow you a lot of control over your drift, and it's small. That's my biggest thing. Is if you have the control to slide it through those gates, as they get narrower and narrower, it's very small, and it will fit through very narrow gates.
Man, that might be the winner.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
That's really good. My pick was going to be just the second. I think it's the second repeat I have. And I was going to, again, bring in the ZL1 for all of the reasons I said earlier, like way earlier in this episode. Just power to break it loose, stability to keep it. But it is larger than Tristan's AMG. So depending on how narrow these gates get, we might be in
bigger than the Supra, not for nothing.
Yeah, so we might be in some trouble coming down to the bottom end of this course. Just depending on how they set the gate widths, but man,
yeah,
AMG A45.
That's a good pull.
Well
would have thought of that.
Tristan from deep.
Yeah, so something we don't even have here.
Yeah,
very, very jealous. Also, that's like one of the Mercedes that I very much want.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
The A-Class was here for a while, but never the AMG.
Right.
And
it was lifted, and it was right? Weird.
Yeah, it's the weird crossover one, which is actually basically the A45, but it doesn't have the absolutely bonkers 4-cylinder, and it's the weird crossover version. So,
yeah,
we're America. We can't have nice things here, so.
I was actually riding next to one of those today.
Oh, man. So does that bring us down to our last event?
Yeah, this brings us back to the what will culminate in the great finish of our Olympic Games.
This is the closing ceremony, as it is. And it's also our longest event. One of the main proponents of motorsport and even just cars is endurance. Can a car last? So we have a 10-hour multi-class endurance race that we're going to run. We haven't really picked a track, something like a Watkins Glen or a Road Atlanta. We don't need like Lasarth 8 mile or good God, Nürburgring 14 mile. But something
a very long way,
high 2s to mid 3 mile racetrack. And
I think Watkins would be perfect.
I think Watkins might be perfect for this. And guys, I picked 2 for as far as multi-class go. So
I did eventually once we discussed this.
Okay. So for my, I guess you can call it like big GT class, GTE, GT3. This is where I bring the C8 in. I'm going to run the new Corvette C8.
Color me shocked.
I mean, I don't like the name of it. I don't like the fact that it is a Corvette, but the car itself.
What can I do?
He did seem to say it without any issue, though.
It's a phenomenal car. Like everything about it is a phenomenal car. So
it's a great Corvette,
and especially
even the name,
and especially for the price. Like I think it's a great pick. And then for my, I guess one step down, maybe like equating it to like a GT4, kind of a Michelin Pilot Challenge level class. I'm doing the Mustang GT500 Shelby.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
So those are my 2 picks for this last event.
I basically just copied and pasted and then painted a German flag on it.
Okay. So R8.
No, actually. So you'll actually see 2 returning vehicles here. The 911 GT3 RS and the Cayman GT4.
Hey.
An all Porsche field.
Could be worse.
You had substantially more Porsches than Audis, which surprises me. I didn't see the R8 once.
There were no Audis and one Volkswagen. Well, there was the RS3. There was one Audi, one Volkswagen, and a lot of Porsches.
Mm-hmm. Damn. So
and a lot of Mercedes.
911 GT3 RS and a Cayman GT4.
Indeed.
You know,
Solid.
The interesting thing is I'm pretty spoiled for choice in terms of, well, I use the same guidelines you guys did, which is pre-homologated race car chassis.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's tough for me to pick because, you know, you get it down to a certain level. And so basically of the cars that I've already mentioned, both the GTR and the NSX have race car chassis, which are GT3?
Yes.
GT3 is what those would be?
Yep.
I really wish that I could get the Civic Type R in here. But I think it's too underpowered to race in like a GT4.
We could make a TCR choice.
I mean, I'm not against that, but probably based on what's already been picked, I would have to go with the GTR, which looks amazing in every race livery, by the way. You can't put a bad livery on that car. And the Supra. Wah, wah.
I'm trying to figure out, Tristan, what the American TCR would be.
That's a good question because Americans don't make cars anymore, as we discussed.
Yeah.
You would have to go with
Sonic.
the Ford Raptor. Sonic. Yeah, let's think about that. What would your pick for a TCR class be? Mine would obviously be the Type R, Tristan.
I think I'm actually thinking just for the hell of it, because I know a lot of people run the RS3 TCRs, but I was actually thinking a GTI TCR.
Quite nice, quite nice. Oh, Nick, you could. What's that one car Cadillac makes? You can have the Cadillac, or you can have the Tesla Model 3.
I'll just compete in 2 of the 3 classes. How about that?
Sounds great.
We don't have to compete in every class. Well, there you have it, folks. We have just put together, this was a marathon episode. We have just put together an entire car Olympics.
We actually did do it. I would love to see this. Even if it was only virtual, purely virtual, I would love to see this.
We should see what we can do for this.
Let's call Netflix.
let's actually do that.
For real. Because outside of the 10-hour endurance, like a lot of these could be filmed for like a mini series or a multi-part special type of thing.
That's true. But
all
of Netflix's car shows are whack.
Yeah.
A lot of these things you could do if you were really nice to the salesman on a test drive.
I don't know about a lot.
Maybe.
How nice.
Really nice. Very nice.
Well, I mean, I do, and I know someone who is a owner promoter of one of the local short ovals.
That's true.
So, yeah, maybe. But I feel like this could very easily transition into, the Check Engine Podcast Car Olympics only on Netflix and have like a 5-part series or something where we just do this. Like, I don't see why that can't happen. Besides the fact that no one knows who we are and Netflix won't pick us up.
Obviously not. But
no,
there's
fun. A lot of these. The drifting event, the Python drift and the speed and style. I would love to see. I want to see that A45, and I would love to see the ZL1 versus RCF track edition match race in the speed and style. I think that would be a spectacle to behold. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. If any listeners out there know how to make it happen, we told you how to get in contact with us. Let's put together the Car Olympics, shall we? Guys, anything else before we wrap this up and get out of here?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Good for me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sticking with us today, everybody. We appreciate you listening, but we don't want you just to listen. We want to interact with you. Like I said, you know how to get a hold of us online, so be sure to write, DM, post, share, whatever. Also, if you would please take a second to leave us a review, preferably a good one. And wherever you are streaming us through, whatever site you're on, just hit that subscribe button there. It's free, and you'll get notified of any new content that we put out. If you're really into what we're doing and would like to support us monetarily, first off, thank you. You have two options to go do that. You can go to patreon.com/checkenginepodcast or hit the support button on the top of our homepage at anchor.fm. That page is anchor.fm/checkenginepodcast. Every cent donated is put towards making this podcast a better experience for you, the listener. None of it goes back to us. And again, thanks in advance. Who are we giving a special, or what are we giving a special shout out to before we sign off?
I mean, it sounds so bad to say words like industrious, right? But I really would like to thank everyone in Japan who's working on designing and producing cars, because I came away so impressed with the way they improve stuff. Even cars that we regularly shit on, like the Camry or the Corolla, even cars are the butt of jokes. Just looking back through the history of that car, if there's a commitment to it from anyone in the building, that car will at one point throughout its life be the very best of its kind for however long they choose to put that kind of effort in there. It's super impressive.
Yes. Absolutely agree. Tristan?
I would like to, well, first of all, thank self-servingly enough I guess you guys, because we always kind of joke like, hey, Tristan's the German car guy, blah, blah. It's like, but really it's just Tristan's the Audi Volkswagen guy. And being able to delve deep into German cars was actually really fun. I found a lot of Porsches I like, a surprising amount of Mercedes that I liked, so that was fun. I would also like to thank can koozies. Okay. because they stop your drinks from getting drippy and gross all over your hands on days like we've had this weekend.
Too true. You weirdo.
Well, it's true, isn't it?
Yes,
it is. I thought it was true.
Guys, for my shout out, on a more serious note, we are recording this on Memorial Day. And look, we're not a political podcast. I'm not going to get into that. Regardless of what side of the aisle you fall on or whether or not you agree with what's going on in Washington, the fact of the matter is, there are men and women out there who are putting themselves in harm's way for us. And to date, 1.2 million of them have lost their lives doing so. So I want to give a special shout out and thank you to past and present members of the armed forces. Plain and simple, thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate the sacrifices that you're making for us. And as always, thank you, listeners, for your continued support. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you, and we cannot wait to speak to you again. But until then, take care.